It's now time for the first of our plenary sessions. It's titled Investing in Infrastructure. The session is sponsored by L&W Construction Private Limited. To begin, we'd like to invite Mr. S. Iswaran, Minister of Trade and Industry, Singapore, to present his keynote address. Minister.
Your Excellency, Mr. Malik Samaravikrama, Minister for Development Strategies and International Trade of the Government of Sri Lanka, Excellency Dr. P. Narayana, Minister for Municipal Administration and Urban Development, Andhra Pradesh Government of India, distinguished guests, guests from many parts of the world, ladies and gentlemen. First, I want to wish all of you a very good morning. To say I'm very pleased to join you today at this third South Asian Diaspora Convention. Let me extend a very warm welcome to Singapore to our distinguished delegates from overseas. The strong attendance at this convention, I think, attests to the strong and growing interest in South Asia, and also attests to the acumen of Ambassador Gopinath Pillai and the Institute of South Asian Studies in putting together this event. This convention is taking place at an interesting juncture, not least because global economic conditions remain uncertain, exacerbated by more recent developments like Brexit. Asia, notwithstanding this general uncertainty, remains the center of gravity for global growth, which is underpinned by fundamentals and demographic trends. South Asia, especially, has been a bright spot of opportunity, and related to that opportunity is the focus on infrastructure. Infrastructure investment is today top of mind for many governments and businesses due to the enormous infrastructure requirements that must be built and funded in order to sustain economic growth and raise standards of living in South Asia. The large and growing demand for new or upgraded infrastructure in Asia is evident, fueled by fast-paced urbanization and a rising middle class, especially in South Asia, where the World Bank estimates that the urban population will grow by 250 million over the next 15 years. Companies in Singapore, with their expertise and capabilities, are in a good position to meet South Asia's significant needs in sectors such as utilities, roads, ports, airports, and industrial parks. Indeed, several of our infrastructure companies are already active in the region. For example, I attended the inauguration of the over 2 gigawatt Samcorp Gayatri Power Complex in Andhra Pradesh earlier this year, and recently visited Prima Group's processing plant in Trincomalee in Sri Lanka. So infrastructure remains a major area of focus for the world, or especially in Asia. And in Singapore, as part of our work on the Committee on the Future Economy, which is charting the way forward for Singapore's economic growth and development, one key area of focus is infrastructure. The capabilities driven by projects in Singapore, including our Smart Nation initiative, as well as the professional services and financial infrastructure that can support this sector, which has got significant opportunities. Indeed, beyond the expertise and capabilities, financing solutions will be critical if South Asia's infrastructure needs are to be fully met. While global spending on infrastructure is expected to reach $9 trillion by 2025, there are financing gaps in many countries. According to the World Bank, South Asia faces an infrastructure gap of more than $2 trillion from 2015 to 2025, over the decade ahead of us. Government fiscal deficits have hampered the traditional means of financing public infrastructure through fiscal outlays. And this has led to the rise of PPP models, where the private sector partners governments to fund projects. However, implementation challenges and unmitigated risks have also caused investors to be wary of entering into such PPPs. In Singapore, we have built a strong infrastructure finance ecosystem with foreign and local financial institutions such as the World Bank, Clifford Capital, or the IFC Global Infrastructure Fund, offering solutions to bridge the financing gaps in the region. These institutions also offer project structuring services, which has in turn attracted a whole suite of services for the early development stage of a project, up to its financing and execution stages. Consequently, Singapore has emerged as an infrastructure hub for Asia and continues to develop infrastructure as an attractive asset class for investors. This is supported by the further development of financing solutions and the technological capabilities of companies that are a part of the infrastructure value chain. Companies in Singapore and the region should take full advantage of this ecosystem that we have here to look seriously at developing and investing in South Asia's infrastructure. This will not only help to close the infrastructure gap in the region, but also significantly help the economies by providing jobs and increasing the capacity for future growth. For their part, and as we have also heard from Prime Minister Wickremesinghe, South Asian governments are keenly aware of the need to create an investor-friendly environment, which is essential to attract the foreign investments that are needed to close that $2 trillion gap that was identified by the World Bank. To cite an example, India's 2016 Union Budget was a positive step that focused on the infrastructure sector, including the establishment of a $3 billion National Infrastructure Investment Fund, or the NIIF. Infrastructure projects are large, lumpy, and long in duration. Hence, investors in this sector are attracted to jurisdictions where the regulatory policies are consistent, transparent, and fair. Coordinating policies across the different domains of taxation, investment promotion, finance, and trade is crucial to ensuring policy certainty. A liberal foreign direct investment policy must be complemented by appropriate taxation policies to compete successfully for foreign investments that will always seek out the most attractive opportunities and investment destinations. And mitigating risks such as costs incurred by project overruns due to legal issues, political instability, and currency volatility is necessary to ensure the continued bankability of projects and sustain the confidence of institutional investors. Government-to-government agreements can also help to boost confidence in and the attractiveness of a particular state as an investment destination. In that regard, Singapore has developed close ties with our partners in South Asia through agreements that facilitate market access to various sectors and promote investments from Singapore. For example, we have a comprehensive economic cooperation agreement with India and will be launching negotiations for a modern, comprehensive, and high-quality Sri Lanka-Singapore Free Trade Agreement. We have also put in place bilateral investment treaties and avoidance of double taxation agreements with our South Asian partners, all of which serve to make investment opportunities in South Asian countries more attractive to investors in Singapore. So this network of economic connectivity agreements are an important foundation on which we can build the activities, not just in the infrastructure, but also in deepening economic activity between Singapore and Southeast Asia on the one hand, and South Asia, with, in particular, countries like Sri Lanka and India. The future of infrastructure investment in South Asia is thus ultimately dependent on two key factors. Firstly, the competitiveness and coherence of a country's policies, and secondly, a conducive and predictable regulatory environment for businesses and investors to have the confidence to commence large-scale infrastructure projects that can take many years to generate the expected returns. And to foster such an environment, we need regular and deep dialogue between government leaders, policymakers, investors, and infrastructure companies. And in that regard, I want to take this opportunity to encourage government officials, investors, and companies to participate in the Asia-Singapore Infrastructure Roundtable that will be held in October later this year. This annual event is organized by International Enterprise Singapore, and it provides an excellent opportunity to meet and exchange views with developers, financiers, consultants, and project sponsors in Singapore and around the region. This third South Asian Diaspora Convention is another occasion to do so. It presents a unique opportunity for industry players and other stakeholders to hear directly from government leaders on their economic plans and policy priorities. So I want to thank the Institute of South Asian Studies for organizing this convention, and I want to wish all of you a very productive session ahead. Thank you very much.